there is an excavation hall. I'll open it, we go in, we talk about the history of Mapungubwe. From there we go up the hill. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry?
Oh,
The other side. Please have a thank you. Well, we shift to the other side, then we talk.
I can listen to you.
Sorry?
I can listen to you.
Okay. Guys, welcome to the archaeological hall. And let us come to know what Mapungubwe means and how the site of Mapungubwe was rediscovered, when it was rediscovered, and who rediscovered this place. When we come to the history of Mapungubwe, I'll be taking you 1,000 years back. And Mapungubwe means place of jackals. Mapungubwe, this is a Tswana name. Mapungubwe, place of jackals. Mapungubwe. But then some people do believe that Mapungubwe means place of pouring out. For they believe it was the time of Iron Age, when smelting iron, ore and gold in a liquid form was to be poured out to medium and small beakers. Also, other people do believe that Mapungubwe means place of wisdom stones, believing that it's much more difficult to climb up on top of sandstones. Then they've said these rocks are wiser. But around this place, elderly people, they used to call the place Tabayabalimu, place of ancestors. Place of ancestors. So the site of Mapungubwe was to be rediscovered only in 1932. In 1932, there was a certain white man by the name of Mr. Van Graan. Van Graan was a hunter, hunting treasure. He heard about treasure from this place. Then he decided to come and hunt for that treasure. One day, Van Graan, when he was hunting, he felt thirst. And like enough, he came across to a certain hut of an old black man by the name of Mr. Mavina Mokwena. Van Graan, because he was thirsty, he decided to approach the hut to ask water to drink from the old man. And he was to be offered water inside a unique Wethel clay jug. Understanding that water in clay pots, clay jug is little cooler, it's not warm. After drinking water from Graan, he asked Mr. Mokwena that where did you take the jug? And Mr. Mokwena said he took it from the secret place, Mapungubwe. Himself and Graan, he heard rumors about the secret place, but not knowing exactly what the place was. For he was also once given a clay pot by his informant, who took it from Mr. Lottery. And Lottery once lived between the hill and Limpopo River. So because Mokwena was always dishing out information about the secret place, Van Graan realized that Mokwena got more knowledge and he knows exactly what this was. So he asked Mr. Mokwena to show him the hill. But then Mokwena was not willing to show Van Graan the hill. For he believed it was where his ancestors were buried, so that their spirit would remain undisturbed. At that time, those people, they respected the hill so much, believing that if you point to the hill or you go up the hill, you might go forever, you might disappear. They believed there was some different kind of punishment from the spirit of ancestors, believing that some of the people ran mad, others were blind, others were deaf, because of disrespecting their ancestors. That's why Mokoena was not willing to show Van Graan the hill, for he believed he might be punished. I understand that Mr. Van Graan, he made some plans to convince Mr. Mokoena to show him the hill. And firstly, Van Graan, what he did, he made a party. He invited Mr. Mokoena and colleagues to the party, and he bought alcohol. The aim, he wanted Mokoena to go drunk, then we'll have to reveal the whole information. So as they were partying, drinking, bribing Mokoena to be drunk, and he was to be approached by Van Graan, asking him to show him the hill. And the old man said, "No, Mr. Van Graan, you made a mistake. I'm not drunk, and I can't go to the hill." That's when Van Graan pumped out some coins from his pocket, believing to give Mokoena the coins so that Mokoena would take him there. And the old man refused, saying no, he was not allowed to show anyone the secret place. Lucky enough, there was the son of Mr. Mokoena, Chiwana Mokoena, and that boy in need of the coins, definitely, he volunteered to show the Van Graans the hill. But then the boy got some precautions from his father that don't ever climb or point at the hill. You may need some plans to show them the hill. That's when the boy led the team of Van Graan to the side of the hill. And when they were about some meters away from the hill, the boy gave his back to the hill and he pointed the hill papers. He said, "The hill behind me is Mapungubwe." The team of Van Graan, because we're in need of coming up on top of the hill, they rushed towards the hill in search of the way or the path going up on top. But unlucky, they couldn't see the way because the place was abandoned for a long time. The path was covered by grasses, bushes and trees, meaning that they went right round the hill twice in search of the way, seeing nothing. Only good instructions from the boy. He shouted a little bit far, telling them to go behind the broom tree. Then they will see the legal path. And after they've seen the path, they followed it up on top. When reaching hilltop, they came across with pieces of lepers, of bronze, of copper, of iron, gold, glass beads, shell beads, gold beads. They took those artifacts, they shared among themselves equally. And lucky enough, in that group there was the student from the University of Pretoria, Jerry Van Graan, who was also doing history in Great Zimbabwe. It came to his mind that this was the place that they were looking for. So he managed to persuade his father Van Graan to report the hill to the government as the place could be protected. That's only the previous government at that time decided to buy private farms around this place to protect the place. And 1933, the University of Pretoria got permission to come and do excavation up on top of the hill and around the base of Mapungubwe. At that time, while doing excavation up on top of the hill, they revealed or they discovered 23 graves. But by then, 3 graves were much more different from the other 20 graves. And from the 3, the first grave, it was a woman. That woman was to be buried in a clay pot, in a sitting position, facing to the west. She was buried with 100 bangles of gold, 26,000 of glass beads, and 12,000 of gold beads, meaning that it was the queen of Mapungubwe. And the second grave, it was a middle-aged man. That man was to be buried in a clay pot, also in a sitting position, facing to the west. But by then he was to be buried with the golden necklace, and the head of a golden crocodile was to be discovered in that grave. And the third grave is the one that each and everyone assumes it might be the king of Mapungubwe. For skeletons were to be discovered, being buried with the golden rail, golden bowl, golden scepter, and more stuffs of gold. And the other 20 graves, many of them are young people, they were buried in a lying position with nothing, whereby we believe it might be the daughters, the sons, or the nephews of the king, because they were up on top of the hill. So Mapungubwe was not the first place to be occupied by those people at that time. A certain place by the name of Nchingame, Zizo, was to be occupied by 800. And being occupied, it was containing about 300 people. And those people were from eastern part of Botswana. The Babirwa people, or the Kalanga people, the Western Shona people. The Kalanga, Bakalaka. So at Zizo site is where they discovered lots of animal figurines and the Chinese ceramics. And because they were on the bank of the river, Limpopo, when floods came, those people had to be forced to be away from the river by floods. Then they occupied Bambandi and Nalo. or K2. K stand by 1000. K stand for chrome. Is the name that was given to the site by an archaeologist from German, Gardner and Canton. Understanding that Gardner, when doing excavation, he firstly excavated a small portion, he named it K1, later a huge portion, and he named it K2. But by then some people do believe that K stand for com, for the settlement of K2 was to be surrounded by the hills, like our main camp Liokwe. Liokwe is surrounded by the hills, that is com. At K2, the population of people increased to be about 2,000 to 3,000 people. And also at K2, they discovered that the king and livestock were to be situated in the center, being surrounded by the hearts of commoners. And also they discovered 127 graves. Those graves were to be buried in a lying position, their heads facing to the west. 1220, when coming to occupy Mapungubwe, the hill Mapungubwe itself was just chosen for the good security of the king and the status of the king. For it was where we see royalties separating themselves from commoners. Royalties going up on top of the hill and commoners remaining at the bottom side. And the world population was estimated to be about 5,000 to 9,000 people. Starting from many gateways from across in Bechuanaland, Botswana, also across in Rhodesia, Zimbabwe. It was a huge settlement estimated to be about 30 square kilometers, meaning that this was the first kingdomship in southern Africa, and it was the capital city of that time. People of Mapungubwe, they were traders, they were farmers, they were also hunters, hunting animals to get meat to feed themselves. But ivory to be turned to the Arabs and the Chinese. They were giving them ivory, they were getting glass beads and cloth from those people. For Africa as a whole, we don't have glass beads. 1932, they discovered lots of glass beads, meaning that those people are having network with the Chinese and the Arabs, because glass beads are from the East. They were giving them ivory and they were getting cloth and glass beads from those people. And I do believe those people, they have to use the Mogadishu road, from Mogadishu to Zanzibar, from Zanzibar to Sofala in Mozambique. At that time, because Limpopo, it was a perennial river flowing through Adrolie, going to the Indian Ocean. Sometimes those people, they used boats on the waters of Limpopo. But mainly, land transport was to be used. They were also practicing agriculture, planting sorghum and millet as their main crops. On the plains, on the banks of the rivers, Limpopo and Shashi. For soil on the bank of the river is a loam or a fertile soil can produce more crops, like what was done by the Egyptians practicing agriculture on the bank of the Nile River. Iron was there from Swapong in Botswana, salt from Makarkerpen in Botswana, beyond Francis Town. When people heard about gold being discovered at Mapungubwe, thinking that there was a gold mine, they came in large numbers, coming to dig gold for their own treasures, and there was no gold. There is no gold even today. Remember, when they discovered diamond in Kimberley, they flocked to Northern Cape, and when they discovered gold in Johannesburg, they turned back to Johannesburg. At Mapungubwe, there was no gold. The golden rhino ball and scepter, it was wooden cores being covered by the fall of gold, meaning that gold came from the north, from Zimbabwe, eastern part of Botswana. We are not far from the Gwanda gold mine in Matwele South in Zimbabwe. Tule River from Atopo Hills flows not far from the gold mine. And alluvial gold came with those rivers from the north. Iron from Swapo, salt from Makarkepen, beyond Francisco. Questions before I go on?
The mine in Zimbabwe that you mentioned, how old is it?
Sorry?
The gold mine in Zimbabwe that you mentioned, how old is it?
There is much more gold in Zimbabwe, unlike the Gwanda gold mine. I'm not quite sure how old it was, but remember, we are talking of something that happened a long time back, meaning that the gold mine came later. It's when they discovered much more gold, alluvial gold from the north.
Okay.
For example, at Gwanda, the mine that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a question. The gold beads that they found on the Queen, what happened to those?
Remember, all of those stuffs are to be taken to the museum.
Okay. Oh, so they're currently at the museum.
Yeah.
In Pretoria.
Yes, Pretoria Museum.
So they didn't take one, yeah.
They did.
Oh.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
Questions?
So, alluvial gold was brought down by the Limpopo.
Yeah, Limpopo and Shashi River. Not Limpopo, but Shashi River. Remember, there is Shashi River, Tule River, from the north. Limpopo is from Krugersdorp,
Oh, I see.
not Limpopo,
I
but
see.
Shashe River,
Yeah.
Tuli River,
Yeah.
then Mzingwani,
Yeah.
Bubi River
Yeah.
from the north,
They come all in.
coming to Limpopo.
Coming down, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Questions?
Did they also trade with like northern African states in dealing with
Glass beads from
I
from
mean,
Ivory.
no, not ivory. No, ivory was he said exchanged with China.
China.
No, I mean was crops like millet and with seeds in order to have like grain to make bread and stuff like that.
No.
Is there any knowledge about that? What seeds, what grains would they was harvest for food?
Remember, the grains that we talked about, the big grasses,
Yeah.
it was sorghum and millet. And
Yeah.
it was therefore to feed themselves.
Is
It was
that grew here already?
Definitely
it was
it was
not.
here.
It was not brought
because
from
the grains that came later, it was maize from
No,
Southern America.
I mean the grains were millet and sorghum was
Millet and
here,
sorghum was here.
already. That
was
did not come
definitely,
from the
yes, not coming from somewhere.
Ah.
Sorghum and millet was here.
Yeah, yeah.
Questions?
So they couldn't make bread from that.
Sorry?
They couldn't make bread from sorghum and millet.
Bread.
You can't.
What kind of bread?
No, I'm just asking. You can't.
No.
Why?
No,
why
of course you can make the flat bread. That's the Arabs make flat bread from millet, from
I'm
millet
not sure,
flour.
but by now, let us understand that the bread came later. The word even itself, bread,
Yeah,
it came later.
yeah.
Why did it come to an end?
Good question. We talked about 5,000 to 9,000 people. When drought came, because of drought, changing of climates, the death of the king, diseases like malaria from mosquitoes, sleeping sicknesses from tsetse flies, people died in large numbers. And it was raining very well in the north. The fall of Mapungubwe is when you see the arrest of Great Zimbabwe. So Mapungubwe was to be occupied by 1220 to 1290. Then Great Zimbabwe was to be established by 1250. So people died in large numbers because there were no doctors from Cuba. Then they headed to the north.
So the gold beads that they made.
Remember, gold was to be used by only people of high status.
Of high status, yeah. So to make the gold beads, how did they melt the gold?
How did they melt gold?
Yeah.
Then they used charcoals.